Welcome back to another Fire and Maneuver multiplayer battle, friends. And today I'm going to be playing as Austria-Hungary. This is not typically a faction I actually would play as, but I decided today I've got to go ahead and give these guys a chance. They've got some absolutely fascinating units, and I want to round things off with some Grenzers and Feldjägers. The truth is, I really enjoy infantry units, and I enjoy the infantry approach. I probably should have taken this faction long ago, if I'm being completely honest. Let's go ahead. We're going to take one more infantry, this time a Hungarian light infantry. And let's stick, I think we've got 30. Let's go ahead and stick to the M1851 Augustin Carbine. Wish us luck, my friends. If you enjoy these videos, as always, I would ask that you like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. It really does help us out, especially with the YouTube algorithm being the way it is. Now, I'm 9 for 9 with multiplayer games, and I still auto-deploy. I'll essentially decide what I'm going to do when the battle begins. The only issue I have with the auto-deployment is putting your units into pre-assigned formations, but I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do, and it has something to do with those woods there and those woods there. I don't typically like to split our army, but I'm thinking we're going to take these units, head over here, and take these units and head over here and try and converge over there on the enemy. Now, again, I haven't played with Austria-Hungary yet, but from my understanding, Austria-Hungary are kind of like glass cannons. They've got pretty long range, but they're not exactly the strongest unit. So here we go, and it looks like we're going to be facing my favorite faction, France. Oh, no, wait. Yes, no, it is France for sure. All right, friends, let's get started. First things first, actually, let's get him into just a line formation over here so that he can move a little bit faster. In the meantime, I'm going to start moving these guys forward. Now, as you can see, we've got horse-drawn artillery, and I am like a huge fan of horse-drawn artillery in this game. I would say it's won me quite a few battles. So we're going to start bringing that up to the front. And again, I was saying that I'm going to split the units here and here. Not so sure now. We might just keep a static line right there down the middle because they are approaching very quickly there. I don't want to get my first defeat online, but, you know, on this channel, we show our victories and our defeats. So as you can see, look at this. You see how much quicker our infantry can move? Absolutely awesome. And once they get over here, I can go ahead and put them in a standard formation once again. Now, I see those cavalry approaching, so I am going to prepare to repel borders. We might even just hold this position. So let me bring our cavalry units over here to the front. And let's hope that's going to be sufficient to put a stop to Napoleon III's forces here. Interesting. I'm hoping this is the correct approach. And this is pretty risky because, of course, they could decide to attack over here. Nonetheless, I'm going to take that risk. It's a measured risk, at least. And we're not quite at the position where we can fire that cannon, but I'm going to hold him right there and just essentially prepare. That guy is bogged down. Not much we can do over there. That's a real shame, too, the bogged down unit, because we want to try to keep this formation together, and we're starting to break apart. Of course, this makes it easier for the enemy to single out some of our units. Let's see what happens here. So our cavalry go there, infantry there. And okay, so they're actually going to try to get past us. I'm going to call their bluff. I am going to call their bluff. Boom and boom. Flank attack on the enemy. Now that guy is once again stuck in place. Not much he can do now. The enemy is wise enough to actually remain out of range of my cannons. They were doing a really good job at that. We're going to continue forward, and it doesn't look like they're sending any units over there to flank me, so I'm hoping I'm going to be fairly safe. But let's see how our cavalry, our Austro-Hungarian Uhlans, do against this unit. Now, the Uhlans are actually the nobility, really, of the Hungarians. They've got some incredibly strong units, of course, some incredibly vicious units, and I'm hoping that it's going to pay off, because this was a very expensive cavalry unit. Come on. And Flank. Side charge. Give me that side charge. Oh! Nice. We did get the side charge bonus. Absolutely got the side charge bonus. We are closing in, and they are actually converging all in one location. This is a new approach. I'm hoping it allows us to deal with their forces piecemeal, although only time will tell. And a frontal hit. Not bad. We're going to keep those guys in combat. Let's hope they break through. Take another look very soon. But what I'm going to start doing now is bringing these guys forward. And I think this is a bug because we absolutely have them in a standard formation, but it's appearing that we don't. So I would guess that's just going to be a bug. There we go. Open fire. Open fire. Open fire. And again, I told you guys about this Austrian range. I'm hoping that's really what's going to save us here. Come on, boys. And sure enough, he retreated. I should have known. He's going to try to get away with that cavalry. Let's see what sort of damage we do here to his army. It's a frontal hit. Going to be getting some frontal hits with the artillery too, but he's going to try to flank us. And I'm thinking we're just going to have to basically flip our army around. We don't exactly have so many men that we can't do that fairly easily. So I am potentially getting ready to flip this army around. Now, once again, I'm going for another charge. This will be a frontal charge, but I'm confident we can win this. And once again, try to go for just some standard shots. See, that is strange. He should be able to fire. That could be a slight bug there. We'll do this. Do this. Do this. And what am I going to do over here? I am going to start falling back into reserve, as you can see. I will take this unit and try and flank the enemy. But again, I'm not sure why they are unable to attack. Quite frustrating. Let's end the turn. I believe our Uhlans outmatch the French cavalry any day of the week. I could be mistaken, but that is what I think is the case. So let's hope that that charge will really wrap up the day. He's having some issues deciding what to do here. Can't say I blame him. And once again, trying to escape with that cavalry, man. Not a bad idea. Again, nice frontal hit. And it looks like we actually got a little bit of suppression fire here for our own frontal hit. They are getting way too close for comfort. So I'm going to almost entirely focus on that unit. Although I do feel like we might be splitting our forces a little bit too much. First things first, we've got to deal with that enemy, and I'm not sure we necessarily can. Boom, boom. We're going to try to do this. And again, unfortunately, that unit is practically useless. So we're going to have to make them useful, essentially. Make the enemy think that we could still hurt them with this unit. Open fire there. And I'd like to pull this guy over here and open fire with him, although we're going to have to wait a turn before we get some effective fire. And the same thing over here. Another option is to turn around, although I don't believe we really have time for that. It's a shame we're unable to fire and readjust in the same turn. Come on, come on. Yeah, they're going to be doing a flank charge almost for sure, or at least setting up for one. Come on, boys. So actually, it looks like they're going in for a frontal charge. Man, that is pretty cocky. Pretty cocky. Although, you know what? I think they potentially could do pretty well here. What I might try to do is get my cavalry into the fight. I'm almost certain they're going to try to charge in there. So are we going to do something like this, maybe? Oh, wait a minute. First... Next. Get our cavalry in there. It's going to have to be sufficient for now. Open fire. Another thing I could try here is, like, changing their formation, but I don't think that's the issue. We could turn them here to skirmish formation, and okay, that worked. So you know what? We maybe just need to change the formation there. A little strange, though, that that would be an issue. And unfortunately, since we're currently in combat here, we are locked in. We got to go for the full Monty in terms of combat. So let's do it. I'm just happy we got those skirmishers firing again. Looks like they're going to fall back. Okay. All right. All right. Still causing a bit of confusion amongst our line, but I'm hoping that we can do something about that that cavalry right there. And sure enough, it looks like those are Dragoon units. So they're just simply firing at our back. Pretty devastating, I must say. Got to do something about that. So first things first, instant cavalry charge. If we can get a second cavalry charge, that would be pretty awesome. But I'm going to keep it just real simple here. And it looks like, yep, sure enough, we do have a shot over here. Let's get a shot with our infantry here. And we're just going to start bringing these guys in and really forming a proper front line. Hopefully, it's not too late to make that happen. So I'm going to move this guy forward as well. And look at that. We've got them covered on all sides. Again, I'm not sure if it's going to be sufficient for a victory. Only time will tell, of course. We really need that cavalry to charge. It looks like those bastards are going to get away. Nice! Frontal charge. Not the greatest charge, but you know what? Desperate times call for desperate measures. I loved that cannon hit there, and we're taking a lot of shots right there on that unit. They are being cut to ribbons. I believe it's the Hungarian line infantry. A really nice charge there by the French, and of course, they get through there. And it means we need to readjust to deal with this unit directly ahead of us. There's a frontal hit as well. And actually, they will win this fight, this cavalry fight for sure, if we don't do something. So I'm wondering, what can we do? We can do this, kind of get away. Open fire. Open fire and open fire over here. But our choices are definitely limited. I will say, I think this might be our first defeat. It's taken us so long to get here. The enemy, actually, I really like this approach. Again, diverting all those units to one side and making me focus on the cavalry here, kind of splitting my forces. I think it was a great move. It really was. There we go. At least we got rid of one of their infantry units with some canister shot. Let's keep going, boys. At a minimum, we shall use up every single bullet we have and try and damage as much of the enemy as possible. But as you can see there, some pretty devastating frontal hits, I must admit. And again, I'm going to go for that attempted cavalry charge. Oh, guess what? They're bogged down. One of the worst times for a unit to be bogged down, of course. So let's do this. Really just trying to maximize firepower. And while we get the chance to do... I was going to say, well, we get a chance to do a flank charge, but they're not in the proper formation for a charge. Another thing I think the enemy did exceptionally well, and I'm going to apply it to my future games, is they kept swapping those units out. And really, that's the appropriate way to approach battles in this time period. You get some hits here, you swap the unit out. All those damaged units are back in the woods. I think it's a really, really good approach here. And there we go, back hit. Good shooting. Forcing our Hungarians to, of course, take off. I believe this leaves us with 3 units left, and none of them are in very good shape, but nonetheless, we are going to continue the fight till the end. I always promise on this channel that I share my victories and my defeats. So if you only want to see victories, let me know in the comments. But if you like to see both, I really appreciate hearing that as well. So here we go. I'm going to try to do this. So it's also my first time playing as Austria-Hungary. Now, I was kind of surprised by the price of some of these units. They can be really expensive, but I love the shooting capability, the distance, the range, whatever you want to call it here of this unit. I really, really like it, of this army in general. So I'd like to try them in the future, maybe with some somewhat different tactics. Come on, we can do it. You can do it, cavalry! And it looks like they came for us. That's very strange. Got us first with the back charge. They must have just anticipated that move, which I guess wouldn't be too hard on a situation like this. And he's coming in for the final bayonet charge there. Absolutely getting those men on the front lines, crushing our men in melee. And all I have left is this cannon and that cavalry unit. So we're going to go ahead and lay into them, of course, with that final shot. But I'm pretty sure that that is a GG. That's right, I'm keeping my boys in the fight. I want them to fight to the very end. And actually, in this situation, our cavalry is doing somewhat better than his. So our cav might come out on top. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, though. Really like those Uhlans. I think in terms of cavalry units, these might be some of the toughest. I believe they have 6 hit points, if I'm not mistaken. Just a ridiculous amount of hit points, these Uhlans. So, of course, first things first. Oh, never mind. We managed to rout them. Good job, Uhlans. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come in over here on the flank. And with this unit, you know what I should do first? I should fire with this guy first, and then come in on the flank and charge. Don't get excited. We're not going to get a glorious victory out of this. It's not going to happen. But it's worth trying at the very least. So interestingly enough, they're going right into that position. The other player's doing a really good job at just anticipating my moves. That side hit gets completely rid of the artillery, and we're going in for a charge. Of course, since he's already in that position, it's going to be a frontal charge. Although I hope my Uhlans cut their men to ribbons. Come on, boys. He's going to try to get some rear shots on this unit, and I would do the exact same thing. Even if he ends up hitting his own unit, what difference does it make? And there we go, a defeat. A really fun game there. My first defeat, besides Griffin Johnson on the auto-resolve battles. So, interesting stuff. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, vive l'Empereur Napoleon III. But, you know, long live Austria-Hungary as well. That was an interesting fight. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. I'll catch you on the next one.